Okay, this is another how to tank on a leveling protection warrior video. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of this dungeon, just call it the Crypts. Um, One interesting thing about this dungeon here is going to be that the mob packs are going to start out with only half the mobs you're actually going to tank, because all of them actually end up summoning another ad. It's always non-elite ads, but they do summon more ads, so you may want to kind of slow down on your thunderclap, charge or end, maybe cleave the two that are standing there, and then wait a second for them to spawn their ads and go ahead and you can thunderclap and pick them all up. Even if someone does pull aggro on the mobs they spawn, you can probably just let them go because they're non-elites and they'll die really fast anyway. But it is something new, something different, so that it's a little bit different from all the boring runs that you've had before. As far as on how hard this dungeon is to tank, this one's actually really easy. It's a pretty fast run. Not a lot of trash in it. It is kind of spread out, the pulls are, again. But overall, it's a pretty fun dungeon to tank, actually. There's 2 bosses in here. The bosses are pretty simple. But it's not as bad as some of the dungeon runs that I've been doing lately. Right here, this run, I was not actually pulling all the trash like I normally do to try to level up. This run, I was just trying to get through it as fast as possible. It was pretty late, and the healer in this group actually was trying to get done pretty quick as well. We had run a few dungeons together prior to this one, and this was the last one we were going to do of the night, and we were trying to make it a pretty quick run. And right here you can really see what I mean by how spread out the trash is in this dungeon. It's just a pain to have to run all the way around here and not actually get to fight anything. It slows down the amount of experience you get by a ton. And then there's just this one pack in the hallway here, and you get to continue walking down even a longer hallway. This dungeon, toward the end, the groups actually tighten up and you start to get up to where you can pull tons and tons of mobs again. And that actually speeds the run back up. As you can see there, you just leave the trash for the DPS to clear out, and you just keep moving. It's a little bit harder to do that because if you do get too far ahead, your healer won't actually be able to heal any DPS and you at the same time because of how far these mobs are spread apart. Right here I'm trying to walk through the door backwards and then realize that it just spawned another mob that was out of my range of my thunderclap. If you do have that happen, you can just hit them with heroic throw, or you can just charge over to them. It's really not a big deal to try to pick them up. And of course you always have taunt. I like to save my taunt and try to keep taunt for if I do ever happen to lose aggro. I like to try to pick up aggro on mobs with something other than taunt, because taunt only holds them for a few seconds, whereas if you gain aggro by hitting them with heroic throw, it's normally gonna stay on you. And as you can see, our healer's trying to pull more groups to me. He realizes how spread out they are. So we're just trying to get this group moving on as fast as we can. And my healer is actually helping me pull here. It's a really good group. We move pretty fast. I think I ended up dying one time during this dungeon run, but it wasn't because of the healer's fault. We actually had some DPS who managed to kill me in this run. This right up here, this is going to be the first boss in the dungeon. Really doesn't do anything. His damage output is really low. The only thing is, he does make cast times for healer and your ranged DPS casters like your mages, your shadow priests, your warlocks. Their cast times are going to be ridiculously long on this guy, so they need to stay at max range of him. But he doesn't do a lot of damage as long as you have a healer like a disciplined priest, druid, even a shaman with earth shield. You shouldn't be in any danger at all. Just try to keep him at max range of the healer so that he can actually maybe cast a couple of times. But if they have dots or hots, then you should be fine. Your damage, if you're coming here with a lot of melee, this guy goes down really fast. if you come in this dungeon with a lot of casters, well then your damage may be a little slow in this fight because of the debuff that he gives you. There's a plate helm drop right there that if you don't happen to have the heirloom items, you can pick that up. Looks like it'd be a pretty nice item. Then right here we just continue taking the long hallways with only one trash mob in them. It's kind of annoying whenever you see how long the hallway is and then you go around the corner and there's still no trash to pull. Right here, this is a good room. If the whole dungeon was like this, you'd get a ton of XP. Right there, I pulled one side, the healer pulled the other side. Just group them all up, tank them. Right there, mage pulled aggro a little bit, but not a big deal. We'll just run over there, throw down a thunderclap, and pick up all the trash. That was a good room. And then you get to go all the way down to the next room and only have one trash pack between those two rooms. Yeah, if it wasn't for the long hallways in this dungeon, if it just went room to room, this would be an awesome dungeon to tank. Right here, I got mind control, and instead of actually killing the healer, or the guy who was mind controlling me, they just DPS me down. And I die. But it's alright because the healer keeps everyone alive. He's quick with the res, and we move on to the next room. This is the last room. These are big AoE packs. My only complaint is that they're non-elites. If Blizzard would have made all of these guys elites, the XP would be great in here instead of the really crappy XP that you get. So you have huge mobs of AoE tanking where you really only need to focus down on one guy. That one guy is the elite mob in the group. I think this room has maybe 5 elite mobs in the entire room out of probably, I don't know, I'd say there's close to 100 mobs in this room. And that's not counting the boss. Right here, just continue to pull. My healer can actually pull some more here in a second and we get them all rounded up. Right there, I had aggro on all of those. Go ahead and leave those guys for the DK and the mage to just AoE down. Drag the other group across the room over to here, and then just tank these last 2 elite mobs. And that would be it for the trash in this run. After these 2 go down, we move on over there to the boss, who is there's only 2 bosses in this dungeon. This guy really doesn't do anything. He spawns an ad and he takes the soul, I think, of one of your party members and spawns that as an ad. In this run, he actually takes the soul of me, so you actually get a pretty good look at what the actual cast and everything looks like. As far as how to take him down, you just DPS straight DPS him down. Right here he uses a little soul rip on me. And if you thunderclap real quick, you can pick that guy up. My thunderclap apparently missed. Yeah, now I see the guys chasing my healer around. Go ahead and taunt him over. Right there he summons another ad, but by the time he summons that ad, he's dead. And you do just have to finish these last 2 trash mobs off, the ads that the boss summoned, and you are done with this run. Thanks for watching, guys.